Welcome to the Christian and Tiffany channel. I'm Christian, and this is
Tiffany. Hey guys.
We're excited to be with you today. Today we're going to be talking about leadership, coaching,
influence,
marriage, kind of our journey, a whole bunch of stuff.
So we did our very first YouTube video, and it was just sharing why we were doing a YouTube channel. We asked for 100 subscribers before we officially launched what our videos were going to be. I'm tangled up. And so we thought it would be kind of fun to revisit that and just share our story of where we are today now. I mean, that was in August, right, of last year?
August, yeah, it was August. It was August
So
17th.
Here we are, end of February, and it has been so much fun.
Really has.
And it's been really interesting just to see how what we thought we were getting into has morphed into something so much bigger and so much different than what we realized. And we're really excited about where we're going. And again, where we are today, we'll go back and watch a video, I'm sure, 6 months from now and say, oh gosh, we had no idea then where we were going. And that's kind of how I feel about our first video.
Yeah, our first video, I mean, we're still to that theme, right? Where we want to encourage, empower, entertain, educate people. And we've always had a passion for that. We love training. We love educating.
Yeah.
And what we've learned kind of a little bit along this journey is that we like coaching. So we've always met with people for coffee and met with different couples and worked on budgets and worked on, business ventures and just worked on different stuff. And now we're kind of realizing that some of our DNA, some of what makes us tick is really coaching, but not just coaching.
It's a profession. Go figure.
Yeah, it's actually a profession, which is really cool. So I'll be like coach, nurse coach, leadership, nurse coach thing.
You've always been a menagerie of things, so that
menagerie. Wow, upping me already on the word game. Nice. I'll have to think of a really good one later. I like to win. That's that Enneagram 8 video we did.
But we've always been pulled into people's stories, and we have always loved just encouraging people in their own stories, you know? So they say, oh, this is what's going on in our life. And we're like, that's amazing. That's awesome.
Tell me more.
Have you thought about this? Have you tried this? What about this? Where are you going with this? And we love to inspire and motivate people to move forward. And so that turns out is exactly what coaching is. It's not counseling. It's not consulting. It's not us giving you advice as much as it is us sitting down and saying, tell me your story. Tell me your struggle. Tell me what's keeping you from achieving these dreams and goals and ideas that you think would sure be fun, but certainly it's not for me. Well, let's figure it out. Maybe it is for you. And how do you get there? And just partnering with people to grow. And ultimately it comes down to influence and leadership. It's what it is. And tell some examples of ways that we are intentional about influencing people. And I feel like leadership and influence can go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely they are. I mean, you don't have influence without leadership. They're almost synonymous.
Yeah. Well, and you don't have life with another human being without influence and leadership. So whether you feel like a leader or not, unless you are on an island by yourself, you're leading people, you're influencing people. And maybe it's your kids, maybe it's family members or a spouse, maybe it's your neighbor, maybe it's your coworkers, but you are influencing people. And so the question is, what is that influence?
Yep. And how does it come across?
Is it good? Is it bad?
Yeah.
Is it healthy? Is it moving yourself forward and other people forward, right?
Well, let me interject one thing real quick. As we begin to talk about coaching and leadership, let's kind of define what consulting is. So in my mind, in the research that I've done, when we've worked with consultants, we've hired consultants into the different companies. Consultants are really experts that are, they know that niche. They know that field. They've studied. They were the 20-year CEO or the COO or the CFO or one of those O's, and they know that field inside and out. They know that specific thing. They've put in the time, the energy, the resource, the expertise, the learning, right? They know that. And so you hire that person to come in and give that expert advice. So you're saying, find the problem, give us the advice, help us out in what we're doing in this, versus coaching, which we kind of discovered is more of.
So you don't have to be an expert in the other person's line of work to coach somebody. because again, it's not my expertise that's going to help you along as a coach. So let's say, for example, we have a friend at church who's a chef, and he's working for a restaurant, but he's got this dream to someday have his own restaurant.
I've got a dream.
I don't know anything about being a chef. Okay, I'm not a very good cook as it is at home. I've got a few recipes that I nail, but for the most part, I'm like, can we order out? Can we, what, blah, it's
better,
not my thing.
Kind of.
Anyway, let's not just go down that because I'll cry. It's an insecurity, but I'm embracing it. I'm just not amazing at cooking. But that's okay. I could still coach that person with training and an understanding of he is the expert. And as a coach, the focus is to use questions and conversation and curiosity to help him dig deep into his own expertise to figure out what the next right step is, to get him to think outside the box, to get him to think beyond his own limitations or the limitations that other people put on him, and to have a conversation that helps him move forward from that sure would be nice, but certainly I'm not qualified, to I actually think I am qualified, to this is the next step, and you start moving forward.
Right. No, that's very good. And what would separate, and I think the other thing that we were kind of wrestling with is we've had this conversation back and forth, is we've been talking about coaching, secular, Christian. What's the difference? Is there a coaching model that is different between secular and like a Christian model? What would be the difference? Because a lot of times, as we've really begun to dive into lots of different influencers that have leadership and speaking ability, we're looking at what's the message that they're getting across? What's the core worldview that shapes that coaching model that they're implementing? Because I know as a Christian, a lot of times in the past when I've heard the word like coaching, I'm thinking, you mean like this inner drive of myself to accomplish what I can by myself? Or what does that mean?
So yeah, coaching has became prominent more in the business world, in the secular world, before it was really embraced in the church. And a lot of churches are embracing this coaching concept now. And we can't give somebody encouragement and empowerment and like this, you got this, you can do it, without that biblical side of us saying, because God made you, because God gave you these gifts and abilities, because God's blessed you. And so of course God wants you to move forward in the gifts. You know what I mean? It's hard for us to detach that. But a lot of secular coaches, it's not focused on the sovereignty of God giving you these abilities and gifts. And it's not focused on doing things for the good of others necessarily, or even for the glory of God. But the focus is what's going to make you happy. And how do you accomplish your dreams, and what steps you need to take. So the coaching model, and not every coach that doesn't claim to be a Christian coach is going to be this way, guys. But in general terms, a secular coach is going to focus on you finding the value within yourself, and finding that value will motivate you to be great and to have success and to do good things. Whereas a Christian coach will really focus on you finding the value in your Creator, in the fact that you are a created being with amazing potential, and then helping you move forward in walking out that life of being somebody who was made on purpose to do purposeful things.
Oh, that's good.
Ooh, that's
preach. Preach, girl, preach.
Come on now.
We're talking about influence. We're talking about leadership. So I probably should get to that, since we've kind of talked coaching, consulting, what that is.
Because that's where our head is right now, y'all. We're reading so many books. We're going to start a leadership course tomorrow that we're really pumped up about. Yeah, signed up for it. So we're really kind of digging into this world of coaching, because that's what we feel is a skill that we're called to really dig into. But aside from that, leadership, influence.
Yeah. So one of my favorite people of leadership and influence is John Maxwell. And if you haven't checked him out, he's got amazing books, amazing philosophies and ideas, and really just a lot of Christian standards on coaching and what that looks like as far as leadership goes and influence. So we're actually reading one of those books at work right now. I was like, let's do a John Maxwell book, right? And his thing is everything rises and falls on leadership. So whether you're a parent at home, you're somebody at work, you're dealing with other people, influence. You don't have influence if you're not dealing with other people. You're not influential. Really, it's how you're impacting and working with other people. And so, being a dad, everything rises and falls on leadership. Are my kids doing a good job? Yeah, it kind of rises and falls on me and what's happening. And it's looking through that lens.
It's this idea of what effect do I have on people? When I walk into a room, my presence, myself, my person, my words, and even my attitudes and my vibe have an effect on a room. And when I come into a room, is the effect that I have on people negative or is it positive? If there was a tough situation going on at work and I walked in the room, would people say, "Oh, thank goodness Tiffany's here. Tiffany, will you help us with this? We're trying to figure out what to do." Or would they be like, "What's up, Tiffany? Guys, come over here. We don't really want her involved." Or, "Here comes Tiffany, the cause of the problem." Everything that we do with another human being is going to have some sort of perception or influence. And so if we're being intentional about our thoughts and our feelings and how they're going to affect our actions and our motivations, if we're being intentional about making sure that our thoughts towards others and ourselves are good, and that our feelings towards others and ourselves are full of grace and forgiveness and love, and that our desires toward ourselves and others is for growth and to move forward and to become closer together and for unity, then our actions are going to reflect that. But if we have a dialogue going on in our head all the time of, they're out to get me, no one believes in me, I don't believe in myself, then your actions are going to represent that. So whether you're in your home, in your workplace, in your church, in your neighborhood, whatever in community that you're in, whatever group of people or whatever setting that you're in, your thoughts are going to affect whether you're adding or diminishing the overall feel of that particular group.
Yeah, and the response of it. And so to kind of tie into that a little bit, my brother, Ben, he's a pastor, and
It's his birthday.
It's his birthday.
Well, we're dropping this.
So Tuesday. Happy belated birthday, bro.
On the day of the recording, happy birthday.
That's right. He pastors at Luminous Church. Check it out if you haven't already.
Check it.
In San Antonio. But he gave me this book the other day. It's called The Hero Maker. And so the premise behind the book is you can be one of two kinds of people. You can be the hero of the story wherever you go, or you can be the hero maker in the story everywhere you go. So when I'm having a conversation with Tiffany, am I
Keep going.
Am I making her the hero of the conversation? Am I making her the hero of being, in leading and serving? And, this applies in every area of life at church. When, the pastor's talking to somebody, is he being the hero, or is he being the hero maker and making the audience, the people, those that serve, the actual heroes of the story?
So good, babe. Because a lot of times in leadership, you're trying to, your focus is as a leader is to get followers.
Right.
Because you feel more important the more people you have
good.
underneath you. Right? But Jesus' model, right, the servant leader is that you lead people to become like you and even more, right?
Yeah.
Like we hope that our kids are going to be so much better than us, more successful than us, more influential than us, because we're really trying to raise up people that'll go further than we can go, right?
Yes.
And so
Raising up kids.
I'm going to show you this. For our anniversary, this is our 14th anniversary.
Something like that.
I'll put it right here.
Okay. Don't hit our mics.
We went to Magnolia Market, which was super fun.
Chip and Joanna.
Chip and Joanna, yep. We got to watch Johnny swim live. Actually, we went with Ben and Brandy. Another shout out to Ben, okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, we were walking around in the little market sales area, and we saw a painter, and this is one of his original works. What?
Yeah, every time you hit it, it's going to hit the mic.
My mic is right here.
Boom. Yeah, and it's going to hit a hot spot. Just trying to help you. I'm serving our audience. I'm making our audience the heroes of the story.
Okay. Well, do you want to finish the story?
No, it's really good. I like what you were saying.
Anyway, he had several paintings that he had done that had sayings on them. So we asked him to write a saying on this. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe we can zoom in later. But anyway, it says, "Be somebody who makes everybody feel like a somebody." So it's this idea that in your relationships, that rather than being assuming or accusing, that you're always curious. That rather than see somebody and be like, I got them figured out, be curious. Say, what do you think about this? How do you feel about this? What about this? Value their opinion and value their place in your world.
Absolutely. You never know somebody else's thoughts. You might think you know exactly what they're thinking, but you don't. You have no idea. So you got to ask questions and find out what's going on.
Yeah, so true. So I guess we should end this with a little bit of a challenge, right?
I like it. Challenge. Ooh,
I think
good.
because,
give me a good one.
Because we're walking in this.
Right.
And so we want you to walk along with us, people. So my challenge, our challenge, I think, should be for you guys just to take on this week with a new intentional perspective of viewing each place, each environment that you live and operate in, and say, where do I stand in this environment? Maybe you can take notes on your phone or just keep a mental note at home. Where do I stand? Am I an influencer? And, well, you are an influencer. What is my influence? Am I positive? Am I negative? Or am I just taking up space? Because, y'all, sometimes there's a lot of you that have incredible ideas and thoughts, but you don't share them because you assume others don't care, wouldn't want to know, right?
Right.
So maybe you're just being silent. Go home, right? Ask that question. Go to work, ask that question. Go to church, ask that question. Go to your small group, ask that question. Go to your mama's day out group, whatever. And really begin to evaluate in your life, where are you in your influence? And then secondly, ask yourself, what can you do to improve your influence?
That's good.
That's my challenge, because that's what I've been doing.
It.
So
me too. I've been learning the art of asking questions because I realized that a lot of times I come into each conversation leading. This is where I want to go in this conversation. This is where I want to get to in this conversation, and not just listening and making them the hero of the story. Oh, Nate. So it's been so much work, y'all. It's been so much work. I'm working on it though. I'm trying. I really am digging in and trying to just really, man, I really do. I love people. I love seeing them accomplish things they didn't think they could accomplish. And part of becoming part of their world is asking good questions without any agenda. So
well, and then for me as a 1 in the Enneagram, which by the way, you guys, if you have never heard of the Enneagram or want to know more, check out our Enneagram playlist.
Absolutely.
We did a whole series of videos on what the different numbers of the Enneagram are and how they can really help you to grow and really reach your potential.
And if you want to go deeper than that, check out your EnneagramCoach.com. Jeff, man, they're an amazing group over there. I'm telling you. Yeah, we interviewed them. They're amazing. You'll love it. They really go in depth.
So as a 1, I love teaching. And so I have a tendency to want to be like, well, let me tell you what you need to do. Well, let me tell you. Let's take notes because I'm going to tell you, right? Instead of saying, what do you think you should do? Wow, I think that's a great idea. And if then if they ask me, well, what would you do? Well, this is what I would do, but you're different and you may have a different solution, and that's okay. So for both of us, just learning how to be curious rather than be even commanding or whatever has been super helpful. So there you go. Those are our thoughts on leadership, influence, and coaching and what coaching looks like. I hope it was helpful for you guys. Be sure to subscribe. Click the notifications bell.
Leave a comment.
See.
Leave us suggestions on what you want us to talk about. If there's something you have a question on.
We always say that and nobody comments. Let's ask him to leave a different kind of comment.
If you're starting a business and you have a question specifically in regards to your business, whether it's a small business, a large business, you're facing an obstacle right now that you're like, I don't know what to do. Leave that in the comment and I will directly talk to you and we'll come up with some solutions for sure. So free value offer.
But we won't give you the solutions. We'll help you find your solutions.
We will come up with the solutions. Not I will give you the solutions.
I know.
I'll give you resources to get the solutions.
Heavens to Betsy. All right, guys.
That is such an old lady saying. Yo, pound it. What's up? Boom.
Bye, guys.
Bye.